In the summer of 1969, humanity reached for the stars and touched the moon. It was a moment that transcended science, a defining chapter in human history. The world stopped as Neil Armstrong descended the ladder of Apollo 11 and became the first person to set foot on the moon's dusty surface. His words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed through time, symbolizing not only the triumph of American ingenuity, but the extraordinary potential of human determination and innovation. But even as we celebrated this unprecedented achievement, the question lingered: what now? The moon, once an unreachable dream, had now been touched. But after that singular, monumental success, the reality of space exploration began to settle in. Over 50 years have passed since that iconic moment. While our knowledge of the universe has expanded in leaps and bounds, no human has walked on the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. It begs the question, why, after achieving what was once thought impossible, has it been so difficult to return? When we think back to the Apollo missions, it can be easy to assume that the path to the moon is straightforward. After all, we did it. But this perception misses the immense complexity of what it took to get there. In the 1960s, the world was in the grip of the Cold War, and the space race wasn't just about exploration. It was about proving superiority. The US and the Soviet Union were locked in an ideological battle for dominance, and space became the stage for that struggle. Under President John F. Kennedy's famous challenge, the United States poured resources into the Apollo program, and the world witnessed a remarkable leap in human capability. The Apollo missions were not simply technological triumphs, they were political statements. The budget was massive, the stakes were high, and the ambition was unparalleled. With a singular focus, the US achieved what had once been seen as a dream. But once that dream was realized, the sense of urgency faded, and the political will to continue waned. The Apollo program was a one-time investment, a costly, all-in effort. In today's dollars, the cost of Apollo would be close to $150 billion. Once the geopolitical goal had been met, the urgency to spend such sums again diminished. The cost of going back and the absence of a clear, immediate goal made it difficult to justify such a monumental investment again. The space race had been won, but now there was a new world to build and new priorities to address here on Earth. Returning to the moon today is not a matter of simply dusting off the technology from Apollo. It's about advancing that technology in ways we never considered back then. The modern-day challenges of lunar exploration are significantly more complicated. The moon may be our closest celestial neighbor, but its environment is far from hospitable. The vacuum of space, the lack of atmosphere, the deadly radiation from the sun, these aren't just obstacles, they are existential threats to human life. To sustain human life there, we need far more advanced technologies than what was available in the 1960s. We must protect astronauts from radiation, provide life support systems, and create self-sustaining environments capable of supporting human life for extended periods. The Artemis missions, aimed at returning humans to the moon by the mid-2020s, aren't simply about planting a flag. They are part of a much grander vision, one that includes building a sustainable presence. We are no longer just aiming to visit. We want to live and work on the moon, using it as a springboard to deeper space exploration, particularly the journey to Mars. To achieve this vision, we need to solve monumental challenges. How do we build a base that can withstand the extreme temperature fluctuations? How can we extract resources from the lunar surface to fuel our missions and support astronauts? These aren't simple questions. These are questions about survival, and they demand revolutionary answers. And all of this requires not just a renewed commitment of resources, but new innovations in engineering and science. But beyond the technical and financial challenges lies the equally complex issue of political will. The Apollo program was driven by a sense of national pride and Cold War rivalry. Space was the frontier of competition. But today, while space exploration is still a source of national pride, it is also a shared domain. NASA now works in collaboration with international space agencies, and private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are reshaping the landscape of space travel. The new space race isn't just about geopolitical competition. It's about creating sustainable, long-term cooperation. The role of private companies has shifted from supporting government efforts to actively shaping the future of space. This has introduced new dynamics into the space exploration equation. While private companies offer innovation and efficiency, they must also work within the framework of international cooperation and government regulation, which can slow down the process. The political landscape is no longer simply a matter of one country racing against another. It is a matter of balancing the ambitions of private companies, national space agencies, and international partnerships. The challenge of returning to the moon is not just about building spacecraft. It's about building consensus, navigating political and economic priorities, and making long-term commitments that can withstand changes in leadership and global priorities. Yet perhaps the most formidable challenge of all is the complexity of the technology required. The moon isn't a short flight away. It's a journey that requires mastery over propulsion, navigation, habitat construction, and life support systems. Since the Apollo missions, we've seen incredible advances in space exploration technology, but the moon remains a difficult and dangerous destination. Each time we venture into space, we push the boundaries of what we know. While the Apollo program was remarkable, it was also a product of its time, a one-time leap that did not focus on the long term. Now, we must create not just spacecraft, but entire ecosystems that can support life for weeks, months, or even years. We need spacecraft that can endure extended space travel, spacecraft that can transport astronauts safely to the moon, and lunar bases that can shelter them while they explore and work. The technology that will take us back to the moon will also pave the way for future exploration of Mars and possibly even further destinations. These technological innovations, whether they involve 3D printing lunar habitats, advanced life support systems, or sustainable energy sources, will change the way we live, both in space and on Earth. But such advancements require time, testing, and substantial investment in research. Despite the obstacles, the desire to return to the moon is stronger than ever. NASA's Artemis program, with its ambitious goal of returning astronauts to the moon in the next few years, is a testament to this renewed ambition. But Artemis is only the beginning. It is the first chapter in humanity's return to the moon, but it is also the first step toward establishing a permanent presence there, a stepping stone to Mars and beyond. The moon offers us a unique opportunity, a testing ground for the technologies and strategies we will need to explore more distant worlds. And with private companies joining the effort, the potential for innovation has never been greater. New ideas, new approaches, and new technologies will make it possible not just to return, but to stay. The journey to the moon is far from over. It is evolving. The goal is not just to land and leave, but to establish humanity's presence in space, to ensure that when we set foot on the moon again, it will not be a fleeting moment, but the beginning of a new chapter in our exploration of the cosmos. Why is it so hard to return to the moon? It's a question that encompasses the complexities of space travel, the economics of exploration, and the ever-changing political landscape. But despite the hurdles, one thing is clear: the human spirit to explore, to reach beyond our world, and to understand the universe remains as strong as ever. We will return to the moon, and when we do, it will be with the knowledge and tools to make humanity a true presence in space, a presence that will continue to explore the stars.